So I realized something today, and it made me want to share online to help parents of autistic kids, and ultimately help the autistic kids. So, when I am really burnt out, I will eat like one food at a time because I want to get rid of the least favorite food first, and it kind of just makes me feel better to get those out of the way. But I only do that when I'm really burnt out. And I realized when I was a kid, I always did that. All the time. Which leads me to believe that I was always burnt out as a kid, which makes sense considering that children are, constantly being jerked around. Like, they have to go to school every day of the week, Monday through Friday. And then they have to go to their extra stuff, maybe ballet. For me, it was ballet or whatever practice they go to. And then they have to go to church on Sunday. And I remember being so burnt out by Sunday that I couldn't handle even the thought of going. I actually pretended to be dead one day to try to get out of church. Like, there's a picture of me laying on the floor pretending to be dead in my Sunday outfit. I hated going because I had to wear tights and they were super itchy and I just didn't feel comfortable in the tights and the dress, and I didn't want to go. It was just too much for me, So people, they don't realize these autistic kids are not okay. They're having to do all this stuff all the time to the point where they're not going to enjoy childhood. They're probably not going to thrive in school. They're struggling because they're constantly burnt out. They can't wait to become an adult so they can finally have some control, some autonomy. Like, when I was a kid, I hated being a kid and I couldn't wait to become an adult. And even now, most people are like, man, I wish I could be a kid again. No, I do not want to be a kid again. I like being an adult because I have control over how I spend my time, where I go, what I wear, and not only those things I mentioned before, but like every single holiday, these kids have to go be surrounded by people. Like, they're going to all these social events because of their families, and they don't get any, any grace, any mercy, any accommodations. A lot of people don't even want to learn about autism, much less provide accommodations for their children and give their children some slack, a break. You can't, raise an autistic child the same way that you raise a normal child, because tantrums are not the same as meltdowns. Like, people see an autistic child having a meltdown, they probably think that they're having a tantrum and they punish them. But when a kid has a tantrum, they're just trying to get their way. They're trying to get something they want. It's a manipulation strategy. But when a child with autism is having a meltdown, they are literally having a nervous breakdown because of their environment. They're not trying to get anything. They're freaking out. And then when they get punished for it, then, they get worse. They just get worse. But I'm not saying that I was punished for my meltdowns. When I was a child, I remember being afraid of having meltdowns. I remember being, proud of myself that I didn't cry in public. Because I was very observant, and I noticed that other kids would get in trouble for that, and it was a humiliating experience. So I didn't want to be humiliated. I didn't want to draw a lot of attention to myself, get in trouble in front of everyone. So I always tried to keep quiet, not cause a scene, I guess. But anyway, hopefully this helps someone. I think it's kind of important. So, all right, God bless.